Is Monster Girl Doctor worth your time? Join me as we'll find out. Hello and welcome to That Man. That is me, Merch, and today we are looking at Monster Girl Doctor Volume 1 light novel. Now, it's not often we see light novels about monster girls. In fact, I can only think of one other that is really pure monster girl. Yeah, I can only think of one other. Monster Girl Encyclopedia, and that is something that I absolutely will be covering on a later date, but of course we need to think of something special for that. Now, the question is Monster Girl Doctor worth your time? And yeah, it actually genuinely is. First up, if you like monster girls, it is a good light novel series, and even if you aren't overly fussed about it, if you want a nice easy comedy title, you're probably going to get some enjoyment out of it. Now, Monster Girl Doctor is brought to us by 7 Seas, yes, because they seem to have a monopoly on Monster Girl titles, and it's not very often we actually see a Monster Girl light novel. Now, apart from the obvious ones, there's not a huge amount out there for people who like monster girls, which is a tremendous shame. We do have titles such as Overlord and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, which has girls who are monster variety, but not really the pure, good and honest monster girl waifus that we really deserve. And Monster Girl Doctor manages to fill that void with absolute perfection. With it being a light novel, you're not going to get that visual aspect of things quite as much, but what is replaced by that is an absolute amazing sense of story and discussion, and the descriptions beyond the monster girls is absolutely fantastic. So yes, if you want to enjoy your cowgirl, for example, there is a lot of very much discussion on having to feel around everything and having to exactly give a massive feeling and stuff like that, and I really like that. In fact, it was one of those series that I started reading, and I was just like, yep, this is far too ecchi for my liking, and then I put it down for a little bit, and then I came back to it and I was like, no, you know what, it actually is really good. Now, the story tells about a young male doctor and his beautiful Lamia nurse assistant as they open up a small clinic in this fantasy town. I say fantasy, it's just, well, fantasy kind of world. And now at first I thought it was just going to be another Monster Musume where it's just kind of, everyday life with monster girls. The monster girls are just normal girls, but that whole monster thing is the kind of the aspect that people lure people in. On the other hand, it could have been another fantasy one which is like, oh god, creature girls, I still own this thing. And thankfully it's neither of the two. If anything, it's leaning towards monster girls, Monster Musume even. And the reason being is because the series focuses a lot more on the monster girl of the week, which for me is absolutely perfect. So volume 1, there are a number of short standalone stories, each of which have a different focus on a different monster girl. So we have the centaur, a mermaid, the lamia, a zombie girl or flesh monster, and finally one that kind of just brings everything together as one glorious whole, which is what I really enjoyed about it. Each of the stories were fun enough on their own, and like I said, they focus on a different individual monster girl. So we have the centaur girl who is just wanting to be in a tournament arc of her very own, and the mermaid girl who is just wanting to sing a beautiful song, but she's got chest infections and stuff like that. And I was expecting something kind of like Blackjack meets Monster Musume, and yeah, we kind of have that a little bit, but it's very much also not. It's very much kind of standard, boring, clinical stuff. The monster girl's, oh, she's got a bad cough, so he's just like, oh, I'm going to have a little bit of a feel here, or it's just like, oh, we're going to have to feel these to find out what's going on. And yeah, it's rather mundane, but it very much tells a world where we had started to discover the anatomy of the monster girls, rather than just being boob girls on with snake appendages and stuff like that. We very much go in depth of how these girls work, how these girls function, how they became what they are, and that's what made this series really special to me. It was one that very much became something a little bit different from what you would expect from monster girls normally. Yes, it has the monster girl titties, yes, it has the monster girl ecchi that you would expect from a monster girl series, but it also goes a little bit more in depth and just to discover what monster girls really are. One of the things that for me I feel is very important when it comes to a monster girl series is the artwork, and this one has absolute fantastic artwork so far. Look at that, absolutely beautiful. And that's kind of what you want when it comes to it. The artwork was really nicely done that and made it an absolute treat whenever the artwork actually appeared. And yeah, that's what I really want when I read a Monster Girl series. A Monster Girl series without decent artwork. You know, this one, which I had a lot of really bad issues with the artwork, doesn't really make it more enjoyable to read. However, a Monster Girl series with absolute fantastic artwork makes it all that more pleasurable. Nearly 90% of the art that we do see, which we do see almost every other page for that matter, it's absolutely beautiful. The artwork is really nice, and they really go for the ecchi artwork just to kind of hook you in and keep you reading. So all of that stuff that you're reading and you're visualising, you are managing to get it in the form of some really nice standalone pictures. Now, the characters themselves are quite fun and varied. Like I said, the focus on here is the monster girls. So, unfortunately, we do have that usual, you know, the standard harem protagonist character. He's a doctor, but he just wants to be the best doctor in the world. And he's just wanting to be helpful to everything. But the real joy is the monster girls. The Lamia, for example, she's the childhood sweetheart girl, or the centaur who just wants to be a brave warrior. We really do see a lot of great things with these monster girls, and we do see a lot of great development between them and the main character. With it being a light novel, we get a lot more into their personal backstories and how their function is in this world, because this world is a fantasy world, but they're struggling. They're very much struggling, so the reason that these monster girls live with the normal world, and the reason that monster girl doctor is important, is that they are on the back of a huge war between monster kind and humankind. However, the giants decided to join forces and a treaty's been signed, so we do see a lot of like cracks and stuff like between that, and a lot of little things here and there where they're kind of just like, oh, will they actually just bury the hatchet or not? And that is one of the things that makes it even more compelling. We've got a rich, lovely backstory for this world. The city itself is something that is absolutely brilliant to visualise, something that you can kind of get behind, because it's a fantasy village, so they don't have all of these massive hospitals. So a little clinic in the middle of this village where monster girls are going to come see them, it really makes a nice change from other stuff. It really gave me a little bit more of Blackjack vibes. While we don't have all of the whole body horror and the dark aspects of Blackjack, we do get that nice little quaint countryside vibe of just being this little doctor in the middle of nowhere, where everyone will come and find them, and they will have these problems, and say he will try and help them solve them. It's one of those things that made the series really nice and compelling to read, and I'm really hoping that the anime does manage to capture this when we eventually get it, because yes, the anime is coming, and I'm so excited because I picked this one up, I read it on a whim, and I was like, no, people are going to be interested in this one. And now I'm kind of like, yes, people are interested, hopefully. Monster Girl Doctor, and it's an anime I've personally got my eye on. So this answers the question, is it worth your time? In my opinion, absolutely yes. If you can get past ecchi stuff, if you want to learn a little bit more about monster girls, please try and check out Monster Girl Doctor, be it the light novel or the anime when it comes out next year. It's so worth your time, and I can't recommend it enough. And that's it from me. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of Monster Girl Doctor if you've ever read it. And again, I want to find out what everyone's favourite Monster Girl is. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for coming, and thanks again for staying. Goodbye.